everyone, and welcome back to another week of Nexus Grain Market Updates. It is Tuesday morning, November 26th at 9:41 a.m. Let's get started with the markets. Right now I'm showing corn down a penny, puts the Nexus values 409 to 415 across our various terminals. Soybeans down 4 pennies, 922 to 927 across the various Nexus terminals. First thing I want to get to this morning is yesterday's export inspections report. Again, I'll remind everyone that that is a federal report that reports to us the amount of corn and soybeans that actually left the United States. So with that said, through the 21st of November, current week, the corn export number is pretty solid, 35.6 million bushels. That topped the edge of the trade estimate to 35.4 million bushels. So good solid number for corn. Soybeans, again, remind everybody that we rely very heavily upon our export market for soybeans. And the soybean number of 77.2 million bushels, again, more than twice the amount of corn, but nonetheless very essential to maintaining a healthy soybean market. That number was just right about in the middle of the average trade guess. A couple of highlights with what I just told you. Both of those numbers represent about a 4% track, and what I mean by that is that we are tracking about 4% ahead of the average, the USDA's number to hit our end number for corn and soybeans. So we're a little bit ahead of pace, and to quantify that, what that means week on week or year on year, and maybe year on year is a little bit more meaningful. The number one consumer of corn, export corn from the United States, Mexico, for instance, 195.9 million bushels this year to date versus 165 million last year to date. So Mexico tracking significantly ahead of last year's pace. The number 2 user, we don't hear too much about this user, but Colombia, 65 million bushels of corn versus last year of 34.8. So we have a pretty healthy corn export program going this year. And really, when you look at the corn market's been strong. It's done a lot to support our corn market. Soybean market, the poor soybean market is really facing some headwinds. For those of you that have been following me, I've been saying that now for several months. We're catching a lot of headwinds from South America with soybeans. Now, with that said, our soybean, even though we are tracking ahead of pace to reach our target at the end of the year, year on year, again, our number one consumer, number one customer for export soybeans in the United States, China. China is a little bit below last year's pace, 431.8 versus last year of 448.7 million bushels. And everybody else is pretty well right in line. Mexico neck and neck with last year. Other exporters I'm looking at, yeah, pretty well neck and neck. So not a lot to really report there with the export inspections report. Again, that's a report of grain that has actually been inspected to leave the United States. So those are solid numbers. We have 40 weeks remaining in the export season, so there's going to be a lot of news to talk about between now and next fall. The export sales report, on the other hand, that can be somewhat more malleable. The numbers that those came out last week, as of the 14th of November. That's published on the 21st. So there's always 1 week of latency in the reporting of actual export sales, and those are in thousands of tons. So right now, the corn estimate somewhere around a million tons to 2.2. Actual number 1.5. So again, those numbers, I kind of take those numbers with a grain of salt. The soybean number was above the estimate a bit, 1860, and again, that's a fairly strong number. We'll see what happens when it actually comes time to start loading these ships, and that's always the greatest test. You know, my belief is that as our marketing season progresses, and I'm going to get into this a little bit more in the program today, in the short program I like to put out, I do believe that we're going to see more of a bias towards a friendly corn market and a neutral to perhaps a softer soybean market. What's coming up in the markets going forward? Grain crushings report that comes out on Monday the 2nd. We're going to see some hard numbers of the actual amount of corn and soybeans that have been crushed, whether they be wet corn milling, dry corn milling, or solvent extraction soybeans. That is going to be, we'll be seeing that coming out on the 2nd. My prediction, true to form, we're going to see another record amount of domestic soybean consumption. Domestic soybean crush margins are very good right now. Last I ran those, they came in about $1.75. So there's really no incentive to do anything other than run as hard as you can run if you're in that business right now. Corn ethanol, still profitable. The sweeteners business can be somewhat vague, but again, that market tends to that market is still tending to hold in there for us, and we're seeing strong demand for really for all the elements of the corn market. Technically, I do like to mention charts a little bit. We have pretty good support. D's corn at 423, March corn at 433. That 10-cent spread is really the narrowest it's been in months. And you know, we have seen this tendency for our corn spreads to decay. I believe largely due to two things. One, we probably have a little softer or a little smaller yields. Doesn't take a lot of numbers changes to make an influence on our board spreads, and the domestic market is strong. So those two things are playing into that. When you really put a pencil to it, prevailing interest rates right now, to get from the D's to the March costs about 9 cents worth of interest, and we're seeing about a 10-cent return. So basically, we have a return to interest, and that's about it with the grain markets. Soybeans, it's not even that good. From the Jan to the March, I'm showing about a 9-cent carry. Incidentally, the January beans support I'm calling 973, and March support at 982. Support levels for that. And with that said, that's not quite covering all the interest it takes to carry a bushel of soybeans. So it's about what I have for the fundamentals and the technicals. I do want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and want you to know that here at Nexus we appreciate your business, and if we can be of any service with any of your on-farm needs for fuel, fertilizer products, seed products, feed products, always reach out to your favorite Nexus representative for help with those services. For all of you that may be traveling this weekend, I urge you to travel safely, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you very much, and enjoy the holiday. Goodbye now.